Okay, I finally, hopefully, getting around to reading another children's book. It's called Rettie and the Ragtime Muffin. And I will hold it to the camera and hope I get a good thumbnail from this. Rettie and the Ragtime Muffin. You know, years ago, when my nieces were young and visited us, they played a game on the front porch. They called it playing Poor People. And it was being played by 2 or 3 of my nieces. We had a swing on the front porch, and I looked through the window on the front porch, and I thought, what in the world are they doing? They had tied lines across the ceiling and were hanging out clothes. And I opened the door and said, what in the world are you doing? And they told me, we're playing Poor People. I said, you're playing Poor People? I said, you sure do look poor. They were wearing old ragged looking clothes and were pretending like they were hanging clothes on a clothesline, and they were playing a new game called Poor People. And that's what this book is about. Poor people. Poor people because of the influenza flu pandemic that hit in Northern America, in New York, around 1918, and World War I at the same time. Many children were left orphans. Some were living in the streets and they were begging, and they were wearing old tattered clothes. Others had to go to the orphanage. And that's what this story is about. A little 9-year-old girl and her sisters trying to survive and stay at home when her father is at war and her mother is sick in the bed. And the 9-year-old girl is the only one who can make money to support them. Rettie and the Ragamuffin Parade. Here we go. As I will adjust this to the camera and hope that that's about it. Let's see, I give it the finger test. Okay. So here we go. Rettie and the Ragtime Muffin. As I said before, in 1918 there was the deadly influenza pandemic sweeping across America. But in the tenement apartments of New York City, Lower East Side, one young girl is determined to keep her family safe while her mother is sick with consumption. 9-year-old Loretta, which they call Rettie Stanowski, does all the cleaning, washing, shopping, cooking for her family to earn money. She cleans the hallways and stairways of their apartment building and washes rags for the rag picker. But Rettie knows the best way to get even more money is to participate in the Ragamuffin Parade that marches down Broadway on Thanksgiving morning. And this is another coincidence. I checked this book out, but it may be why the library decided to display it, but I did not know is that next week is Thanksgiving, and whoever looks at this video, it will probably be sometime after Thanksgiving. But I'm reading this the week before Thanksgiving. And this book is about Thanksgiving. And of course, it's also about Rettie and the Ragamuffin Parade. So we will find out what ragamuffins are as we begin Rettie and the Ragamuffin Parade. And here we go. All the tenement children on New York's Lower East Side couldn't wait for the Ragamuffin Parade on Thanksgiving morning. But no one was more excited than a young girl named Loretta Stanowski, whom everyone called Rettie. And this is beautiful Rettie, the 9-year-old girl. That will be the best drawing you'll see of her. She looks very similar to one of my nieces. And there she is, holding some pennies. And we'll find out what all these pennies are all about. We'll find out. As we notice, it looks like these people are scuffling for these pennies. And we see that people here are tossing pennies in the air. Other people are scuffling on the ground. Other people are trying to catch the pennies in the air. And so begins our story. All you had to do was dress up like a beggar in old ragged clothes and parade down Broadway. For Rettie, dressing up was easy. She already had holes in her shoes and worn, patched clothes. Then fancy uptown people would line the streets and call, "Here come the little ragamuffins!" If you held out your hand and asked, "Have you anything for Thanksgiving? Have you anything for Thanksgiving?" they'd give you a whole penny. But let's remember, in 1918, a penny could buy a lot more than it could today. It could probably buy a whole candy bar. But the best part of the Ragamuffin Parade happened on busy street corners. Handfuls of pennies were tossed in the air. Then all the Ragamuffin children would scramble for them. It was called a penny scramble, and sometimes it got rough. Now I shall give the finger test. That's about it. So Amelia and little Catalina looked worried. "Rettie, this Thanksgiving, are you going to scramble?" they asked their older sister. This year Rettie was determined to join in. She wanted to buy something special for their Thanksgiving dinner. "Don't worry," Rettie said as she rocked baby Sebastian. "I'm going to scramble hard and bring home lots of pennies for us." But that November in 1918 a great war raged in Europe. Many American men had gone to fight in America. Another war was sweeping across the land, one with an invisible enemy called influenza. Other people called it the Asian flu. Quarantine signs had been posted, large gatherings banned, and schools closed. Rettie worried. What if they canceled The Ragamuffin Parade. She needed those pennies. And her poor mama was sick. Poor mama. Can you see this? I know this is dark. This picture is dark and hard to see. And there's poor Rettie and her poor mother. And there's one of the babies, one of the young girls. And there's baby Sebastian and Rettie's other sister. And here is her father that went to war. Rettie's mama had been sick for a month, weakened by consumption. So Rettie did all the cleaning, washing, shopping, and cooking. She also washed rags for the rag picker for 2 pennies a bundle. After all, she was 9, the oldest. Who else would take care of the family while Papa was a soldier so far away in Europe? Besides, Mama would get better soon, wouldn't she? But there was no time for worry. Rettie hurried toward the pushcart market on Hester Street to do shopping. At first, I tell you again, at first things seemed the same. But the crowded, noisy hustle and bustle was there as always. Back alley, garbage stench still mingled with the smell of horses waiting for their wagons to be unloaded. The squeak, 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 eek of the rag picker's cart sounded the same as he called up to fire escapes and open windows. Rogs, rogs, got any rogs? And someone was always cooking that awful cabbage. But there were fewer boys pitching bottle caps on stoops and fewer girls playing hopscotch due to the influenza pandemic. Many children had become orphans overnight and were living in back alleys or taken off to orphanages. Rettie had heard bad things about orphanages. She just couldn't let that happen to her little sisters and baby brother. Over on Broadway, the uptown trolley still rattled and clanked. Clink, 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 clink. But fewer people rushed aboard, and some of them wore masks. And on Hester Street, there were fewer pushcart merchants. What? No pickled herring today? Complained Mrs. Goldstein. How can I feed my family? Smith's whole family is quarantined, Miss Petroff said with a shrug. And no beets. I ask you, how can my bush without beets? But Zimmerman's bread cart was still there. Rettie selected 2 hard stale loaves. That'll be 6 cents, said Mr. Zimmerman. But my little sisters will break their teeth on this hard bread. I'll give you 2 cents each. Then she hurried to Clancy's for 1 small cabbage and 3 mealy potatoes, which she got for a penny each. Then O'Leary's for 2 ladles of milk for baby Sebastian. Rettie had spent all her pennies, but she lingered at Rosette's fruit cart and secretly ran her hand over the smooth, cool orange pumpkins. Then she breathed in the sweet, ripe smell of apples. Wishing she could buy them. Miss Goldstein haggled.
Rosetti, these apples fresh?
Just shot down the Hudson River from upstate this morning. Just then, Rosetti spied Rettie.
Shoe girl,
Only paying customers, he exclaimed, flapping his long apron at her. When Rettie got home, a health service nurse was posting a quarantine sign on Miss Klumpenthal's door. But Nurse Pauline, Miss Klumpenthal pleaded,
I manage this building. I must clean the stairs and stoop and empty the ash barrel, or the health department will fine me.
Nurse Pauline was tall, wearing a uniform, a starched white collar, apron, and cap. Rettie had never seen anyone so tidy. She carried a black bag and spoke with authority.
Ma'am, we must contain the spread of this deadly influenza. No one can leave this apartment.
Quickly, Rettie did addition in her head, then made an offer.
I'll clean the stairways on all 4 floors each day and stoop for 25 cents a week.
With Nurse Pauline standing right there, Miss Klumpenthal couldn't say no. Nurse Pauline turned to Rettie, felt her forehead, checked for swollen glands, and said,
Stick out your tongue, child. Good, no influenza. Which is your apartment? I'm checking everyone in this building.
When Nurse Pauline entered the tiny 2-room apartment, she saw neatly folded piles of clean rags and more clean rags drying on the fire escape.
Does your mama wash rags? She asked. No, ma'am. I do, mama's. Been sick and papa's away at war.
Nurse Pauline saw how clean everything was and how well cared for the younger children were.
You've been doing all this, child? If your mother doesn't get better, and with your father away, do you know what that means?
Rettie lowered her head and almost cried.
Yes, ma'am,
she sighed.
An orphanage.
Can you see this picture? Can I point something out to you? Look on your screen and see if you can see it. Look down there. One of Rettie's sisters is petting a little kitten. Can you see that? Can you see her petting that little kitten? If not, maybe you can enlarge your picture. It is hard to see. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. But can you see the big baby reaching for the medicine? Yes, yes, the little baby, she wants a swig. Looks good to her. And maybe it tastes sweet. She sure does want that medicine. But no, she can't have that. That's for Mama. And this is Rettie. I was wrong. This is another pretty big picture of Rettie, the pretty blonde 9-year-old girl. So this is the other one I didn't know. And here is strict Nurse Pauline, which was my grandmother's name.
Well, let's see what I can do.
Nurse Pauline examined Mama.
Good, no influenza.
She gave Mama some medicine, then instructed Rettie on the dosage.
Now, let me inspect your hands,
she said briskly. Rettie's hands were spotlessly clean because they were always in soapy water.
Now keep these little ones inside, but let in fresh air and sunshine each day, she ordered. Keep everyone's hands clean, and most important, let your mother rest.
Then Nurse Pauline gently touched Rettie's shoulder and spoke softly.
Child, if you follow these instructions, you'd make a fine nurse someday.
So Rettie made a little pretend school under the table. There she taught Amelia and Catalina their numbers and letters while baby Sebastian napped in her lap. She told stories, hummed songs,
Hum 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 hum.
and played little games.
1, 2, 3, gotcha! 1, 2, 3, gotcha! 1, 2, 3, you're it! You're it! Gotcha! Gotcha! Hold out your hands! Hold out your hands!
Keeping everyone quiet so Mama could rest. Did I mention that little kitten? Did I mention that little kitten? Can you see? The little kitten is crawling under the sheet to see Rettie giving the children their school lessons. You know what they say about cats and kittens? Cats are always curious, and kittens are twice as curious. At 4 o'clock each morning, while everyone was asleep, Rettie washed the stairs and railings, swept the halls, and scrubbed the stoop. The only thing that kept her going was the hope that the Ragamuffin Parade wouldn't be canceled due to the influenza pandemic. And you may not see it because it's a dark picture, but there she is. There she is, mopping the stairs. Oh boy, here she is. She's at the Ragamuffin Parade. Boy, is Rettie happy. And this rich woman is giving her a whole penny. Isn't that rich woman generous? Isn't that rich woman really generous? She is giving a whole penny. But no one was more thankful than Rettie on Thanksgiving morning. She dressed in her everyday patched clothes and worn shoes and proudly marched in the Ragamuffin Parade with her face beaming. Many people gave her pennies, and on the corner of Broadway and Broome Street, she bravely entered the penny scramble and added a fistful of pennies to her pockets. I hate to interrupt the story, but do you know what a scramble is? It means the pennies are on the ground, and you get on the ground and you crawl to get those pennies, and you may even paw and try to pull the others away so that you can get the pennies. You may get your elbows and hands scraped up, because that's what a scramble is, especially a penny scramble. So where was I? Many people gave her pennies, and on the corner I read that. So she bravely entered the penny scramble and added a fistful of pennies to her pockets. Then she ran to Hester Street with her pockets jingling. Maybe she could catch Mr. Rossetti, the guy that was not very nice to Rettie. He was just leaving.
Wait, Mr. Rossetti! I need 5 apples!
Only small ones left, he said. 3 cents each, okay? He picked out the best 5 apples left as Rettie counted out 15 pennies.
How much for that orange pumpkin?
She asked. Oh, too much for you, he said, sighing. A whole 10 cents. Rettie proudly counted out 10 more pennies. She didn't even bargain with him. Then she gathered the apples and pumpkin in her apron and ran home. And I think I forgot to do the sound of the Ragamuffin Parade. You think I should? You think I could? Do you think you would forgive me if I go back to the Ragamuffin Parade? Here it is. The Ragamuffin Parade.
Yeah, yeah!
Get ready for the Ragamuffin Parade! And that is the Ragamuffin Parade. So where was I again? Well, anyway, I remember that she was just buying a pumpkin with 10 cents. Then she gathered the apples and pumpkin in her apron and she ran all the way home. And it looks like her mother got better. I hope I didn't miss a page. But anything can happen at the Ragamuffin Parade. I mean, this is one funny book. On that Thanksgiving Day in 1918, there were many grand dinners and celebrations across America, but none was better than the one set in a small 2-room tenement on the Lower East Side. By each bowl of stewed cabbage sat a shiny red apple, and in the center of the table was a orange pumpkin. Yes, it was. Like that, like a guest of honor. I will quickly point to the table. There they are, enjoying a very humble Thanksgiving with no turkey. But at least, can you see my finger? Can you see the little the kittens? But at least the kitten got some milk to drink. Truly a good Thanksgiving. And at that moment, there was no world war, no filth and sickness, no hunger and hardship, only a young girl's heart filled with the hope of Thanksgiving. And let us remember that the first Thanksgiving by the Pilgrims bowed their head in thanks to God and thanked God that they made it the first year in America, survived the hardships, and had a great Thanksgiving meal with the Indians. This ends Rettie and the Ragamuffin Parade, except the author wanted to say a little bit more. This Ragamuffin Parade was true, even though this story was not. It was held in New York City, and it did go on during 1918 and before. And here is the author's note. And here is a real picture, if I hope you can see it. That is a real picture taken in 1910 in New York City of the real Ragamuffin Parade. In the real Ragamuffin Parade, they not only dressed up in rags, but a lot of them wore masks like Halloween. That's how they really celebrated the Ragamuffin Parade. The Ragamuffin Parade was introduced to New York City in 1870, brought by many European immigrants who had settled there. Because they wanted to fit with American holidays, they paired the Ragamuffin Parade with Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving morning, New York City's children would dress up like beggars and parade through the streets with their hands out asking, "Have you anything for Thanksgiving?" People called them ragamuffins and would give them a penny or fruit. The immigrant children who lived in the tenements loved the Ragamuffin Parade because they could fill a pocket with pennies. But as years went by, Halloween became more popular in America. Children dressed up in costumes and marched in the Halloween parades and went trick-or-treating for candy. Ragamuffin Parade fell out of favor. Many immigrant children grew up to be employed by Macy's department store in Midtown Manhattan. They remembered the Ragamuffin Parade fondly. Some historians believe that these employees asked Mr. Macy if he would sponsor a parade for the children of New York City on Thanksgiving morning. And these children that grew up were thinking of the Ragamuffin Parade, obviously. And so in 1924, the first Macy's Thanksgiving Parade on Thanksgiving Day took place. It was so successful that it became an annual event, which everybody knows. If you turn on your TV, you can see Macy's Thanksgiving Parade as they celebrate it today. So in 1918, the great influenza pandemic swept across America and around the world. This deadly strain of flu killed an estimated 50 million people worldwide, in comparisons to the 16 million that died in World War I. When I was in grade school, an influenza epidemic called the Asian flu swept across America. Many children became sick, including me. That fall, I missed 4 weeks of school, and I also missed Halloween. So my parents bought me a chocolate candy bar and placed it next to my bed to look at until I got better. Well, you know what I would do? What I would do if somebody placed a candy bar at my bed so I could look at it till I get better, I probably would eat that candy bar before I got well. That's what I would do. I wouldn't be just staring at that candy bar. But anyway, so where did I leave off? Toward the bottom. I placed this story during America's 1918 Great Influenza Pandemic in New York City's Lower East Side. I always thought that was called East Side Manhattan, but I'm not sure. Thinking about how the tenement children would miss the Ragamuffin Parade just as I missed Halloween. So that's what gave her the idea for the Ragamuffin Parade, because there really is. And guess what? They revitalized it and they celebrate the Ragamuffin Parade today. Perhaps not in New York City, but still in New York State. They practice it in Bray Ridge, Brooklyn, New York. And they even have the parade today. So as an ending note, I found a parade in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, a Ragamuffin Parade taken in 1975. So if you're still watching the video, I'll show you a quick clip of a real Ragamuffin Parade held in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. So here we go. It's very short, and hopefully we will be able to see if my computer will turn on. The Ragamuffin Parade. I hope this works. So here we go. And I have to adjust this. Bear with me so to try to get this. There we go. That is the beginning of it. And we will zoom in. And this is a Ragamuffin Parade. I see it's already been 37 minutes, so I may have lost the audience. And if this hasn't frozen, here we go. I think there's even ragamuffins in the parade. I just hope this is getting it. I said it as best as I could. Yay for the Ragamuffin Parade! Look at the little girl. Oh, look, it's a nun. Oh, remember the banana seat bicycles. Oh, look at that. There's the Ragamuffins. There's the Ragamuffins right there. You see they got a piece of paper asking for pennies taped to their chest. Yay for the Ragamuffin Parade! Whoopee! Year of the Wow, or something. Oh, those women look like they're dressed up from long ago. Ah, here's a little girl with a very expensive coat on. Oh boy, weird. These costumes are very weird looking. Ah, there's a Ragamuffin scarecrow. Poor boy. Ah, Ragamuffin boat. So I hope you like the Ragamuffin Parade. Rettie at the Ragamuffin Parade. This should be coming to an end. It's only a 4-minute. Yes, it is coming to the end. Oh, look at that. Look at the little girls. Ah, there's a big Ragamuffin. And he's too old to be in the parade. I must say, it does look different than Halloween. Ah, look at that. Mickey Mouse. That's it. That was a real Ragamuffin Parade, and here we are. I hope you enjoyed the Ragamuffin Parade.